Is a disturbing development creeping up in Ghana, and every well-meaning Ghanaian will have to sit up and grant me your attention for just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. A man born in Nigeria who settled in Ghana some decades ago and over time became well-respected leader among his tribesmen has now set up a kingdom for himself in our country, ladies and gentlemen. He is an Igbo man bearing the title Eze Ndigbo. I hope I'm saying it right. He has the title Eze Ndigbo Ghana, which translates King of Igbo people in Ghana. His tribesmen in Ghana crowned him this position and the title in 2012. And these are his images, ladies and gentlemen. A very fine gentleman whom we are told is married to a Ghanaian. And as a typical Ghanaian, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with that at all. But many people, including myself, will have a problem with anyone or any situation that has the potential to undermine our sovereignty as a republic. What has made our country livable for all people for many years is our hospitality towards one another and to foreigners, ladies and gentlemen. And that cannot be circumvented by any external tribe nor group of people. Ghana has a common chieftaincy practice of installing foreigners as development chiefs for the purpose of providing value to our local communities. This is a typical thing in Ghana, and hence I thought what this man and his tribesmen were doing was something in line of that, until, ladies and gentlemen, I read from an internet publication that they, and I mean the Igbo people, or he as a king in Ghana, has acquired acres of lands to build an Igbo town and establish an Igbo kingdom within Ghana. This is where I became disturbed, even though I'm yet to see any substantive evidence for this acquisition. That would be totally unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow Ghanaians, I want to believe this is a falsified story, but if not, this is not something we should entertain or allow to continue. Ghana is a sovereign country alongside our kings and our chiefs. They are called kings and chiefs for historical reasons. They have fought and protected their lands and been the source of the unity of our people till this modern era. It is not a title given out of charity, ladies and gentlemen. There is a meaning and a story behind every stool or throne in Ghana. There is a story behind every stool, land, and family lineage that authenticates the royalty of our kings and chiefs. These institutions are not to be toyed with nor replicated in any shape or form, ladies and gentlemen. People have fought and died in the protection of their clans and tribes and lands in Ghana. It used to be our system of governance before the colonizers came in, and therefore should be respected whether by foreigners or locals, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening with this self-acclaimed king of Igbos in Ghana, if true, will be a direct infringement on our chieftaincy structure and the sovereignty of our country as a whole. This cannot happen in any other region outside of Accra, and even in Nigeria. Can this even happen in Ashanti region, ladies and gentlemen, or any of the northern regions? In fact, this shouldn't happen in any other country, and shouldn't happen for that matter in Ghana. The Igbo people of Biafra need a king and true leadership in these times of struggle for an Igbo nation. That cannot be done in a strange land. What this man is trying to do in Ghana will undermine his own people's effort for freedom from Nigeria. And I don't think his intention is to create a kingdom here in Ghana and move his people along. If he indeed has the resources and the know-how to lead his people, this is the time to stand up strong for your people in Abia and Anambra and Ebonyi and Enugu and in Imo states in Nigeria. Biafra is at crossroads with the federal government of Nigeria, and we as Ghanaians don't want to meddle in that. To be crowned a king is not simply by an election. It must be tied to the lineage of your family, the land of your tribe or family, the historical achievements or significance of your family name in relation to the community you lead, ladies and gentlemen. You don't just blip on the radar in a community that has its own leadership structure and annex your throne to theirs, ladies and gentlemen. That is not how it's done, and doesn't make you a king nor a leader. And one reason we have to make this topical is because of how politicians relate with them. During the times of the formal government or the president, this man was seen, invited, and associated with the leadership of our country. And before the elections were held last year, he paid a visit to our current president. This is what he has used to gain for himself the popularity and the needed attention, ladies and gentlemen. But that's definitely not what Ghana needs at this time. We are not in need of more kings and chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. We have a diplomatic relationship with Nigeria, and that should be observed. The idea of our immigration officers inviting him and working with him is not going to be a healthy thing for Ghana and Nigeria's relationship in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to pay attention to all these. Nigeria has a high commissioner in Ghana. He is the representation of Nigerian government in Ghana. He is the one to be consulted or engaged on whatever the issues may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we the people of Ghana must be vigilant with the happenings in our country. We have come a long way with our differences, and that shouldn't be undermined under any circumstance. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome people from every part of Africa and the world to our country, because that is who we are as a people. We are inherently peaceful people who just want to go about our business and live in peace with all men. We have what many African countries never had. We are one of the few African countries that has never experienced a civil war since independence, and we've had a stable democracy in the last 33 years. We have successfully seen the transition of political powers in that time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot be naive of the threats to these achievements. There is absolutely no need nor room for an Igbo king of Ghana or Yoruba king of Ghana or any sort of king on our land. How does it even work, ladies and gentlemen? Does it mean we will have to resort to him when an Igbo person is at loggerheads with our laws or not? That cannot be, because no Nigerian travels to Ghana or to any country on a passport issued by an Igbo state. It is Nigeria we deal with, and should remain so until there is a country called Igbo. Nigeria is a friend and a strategic partner of Ghana, and that is how far it should go. A similar thing was happening in the Adan area in the Greater Accra region, when a group of Lebanese people bought lands and wanted to build a Lebanese community that will prohibit Ghanaians from accessing, ladies and gentlemen. They likewise wanted a town and a system for themselves within Ghana. Could that ever happen in Lebanon or in Nigeria for Ghanaians under any circumstance? Ladies and gentlemen, let's be guided and not be naive. What then becomes of our originality should that happen on our soil? It is true that historically the Ga tribe originated from an Igbo community in Nigeria, but those who actually migrated left for a reason and chose to stay and not return. They have since then installed their own kings and chiefs at this point and contributed significantly to our nation's building. The Ga tribe in Ghana live a completely different reality from the Igbos in Nigeria. Don't let the few overlapping cultural similarities confuse you. They've moved on, and we should leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ghana has its own problems to deal with. Let everyone go and deal with their problems in their individual countries. Our chieftaincy problems are already a headache for us. We don't need more. And this is my message to the Igbo king in Ghana. Oga, we have welcomed you with an open arm and made your stay comfortable in Ghana. We have given you a home away from your home, something that should be respected. Don't start anything that will ruin this situation. I'm told you are a generous man who has helped many of our people in the community you live, and that's totally welcomed, Oga. And I understand you are doing this for the interest of your tribesmen in Ghana. That is totally welcome. But please be reminded and be guided that Ghana is not the designation for your kingdom. That will be in Nigeria. You are at liberty to live within the confines of our laws and borders for as long as you would want. but that should be it, Oga. Our politicians may make promises to you and grant you access to certain high-profile meetings in the country, but we the people will see you for the foreigner that you are. As it stands now, there is no indication in any official government publication or credible Ghanaian website or media that suggests that your stool has been gazetted in Ghana. Let's leave it at that, Oga, and let's allow for Ghana to continue to live in the peace that we have.
Igbo King of Ghana. Honestly, I have met this man before. A celebrity friend of mine was having a program, and that was where this man was introduced to me for the first time. But I thought it was one of the norms, you know. People in other countries elect or select leadership in the form of a king. And this leader is supposed to stand in for them when their people are in trouble or something. When he was introduced to me a year ago, I thought that was the case until I chanced on his interview, and his plan for his kingship is to create another kingdom, another Igbo kingdom in Ghana. Who dare you? How dare you? Whom? Why would you want to create a kingdom in somebody else's country? If you want to create a kingdom, why don't you go back to your country and go and create your own kingdom there? See, if you don't know anything about Ghanaians, you should know this. When Ghanaians decide to descend on you, not even the president of the country can help you. Trust me. Take my word. And advise yourself, dear Igbo King.
A pressure group calling itself Apex Citizens of Ghana has petitioned the National House of Chiefs to take swift action against His Royal Majesty Dr. Chukwudi Jude Ehenetu for parading himself as king of Igbo community in Ghana.
We'll build a village where we're gonna build the palace of Eze Ndigbo there, a huge palace. We'll build Igbo town hall there with about 2,000 capacity chairs.
We understand you are representing your people, but do not go about parading yourself like, we can't have, we can't have a foreign kingdom in our kingdom. We can't do that. You cannot bring an Igbo kingdom into Ghana. When you go to Nigeria, we don't have Ashanti kingdom in Nigeria. When you go to Rome, you do what Romans they do. You don't do as you please. You don't impose kingdoms on the people. You don't install sub-chiefs. You don't create kingdoms and villages and create streets and name it after notable Nigerians and Igbos. You don't even harbor that idea. Just take care of your people and bounce.
See, I know always when things like this come up, there are always Ghanaians who say, oh, you people are overreacting, and then you people should relax, and then. There are always some ignorant Ghanaians that will be supporting foreigners to misbehave in our country. To misbehave. Listen, I want to show you something very critical about this story. But listen, I work with Nigerians. GH articles. I work with Nigerians, and I work with Nigerian businessmen, Nigerian musicians, whatever. Some of them are so much against this thing. Even some of them are asking me to do videos about it. You understand? Like, the idea is so crazy. Now, let me show you a website. On the screen, I'm showing you a website of this Nigerian Igbo king in Ghana. And see, the most, how do you call it? Annoying, I don't know whether to use annoying or to use infuriating. I think that's the word. Listen, communities in Ghana that are under him as an Igbo king in Ghana. I think that is what sends the idea into his head that he's a king in Ghana and he has a kingdom. Because tell me why, as one of his chiefs is how do you call it, Eze Samuel Ikezie, and he is Eze Udo of Sempe. That is Sempe, like in Greater Accra, Sempe. That's where we have Sempe Manche. There is a Nigerian Igbo king that is there. Listen, I even have a video that I'll show you, but let me go through this. There is a Nigerian Igbo king at Sempe. Then there is Eze Kennedy Guinea Kanwa, Eze Kennedy Kanwa. He is a Nigerian chief at La Nkwantanang. And for those people, other tribes like Ashantis, Northerners saying, what do you call it? It's the Greater Accra people that have allowed them. Listen, I'll give you the chiefs. You will know. There are some in your communities. And listen, when you go out there on the streets, those ladies that are doing this prostitution and everything, count 7 out of 10, it's all Nigerians. Charlie, it's a canker. And there are legit Nigerians doing business in this country. That is my problem. Let me go on. There's Eze Chuma Igbo of Adontin Man here in Accra. There's Eze Anyin Victor of Aflao. Voter, you will have yours. Voter. Eze Anyin Victor of Voter. There's Eze Goodluck Utada of Ayawaso traditional area. John Dumelo. Honorable John Dumelo, you have one in your area. Eze Igbo. Eze Dr. Chinedu Kingsley JP. He is the Eze Igbo of Central Region. Eze Dr. Dennis Abuchi Oha. He is also Eze Udo of Central of Kaswa. Eze Dr. Kingsley Ebo. He is the Eze Udo of Ashaiman. Eze Dr. Tony Uyulasi Ukuda. He is the Eze Udo of Domekwa Binya. The High Chief Harrison Kalumba. He is the Chief of Staff. So he has a Chief of Staff. This is a state. This is a state. He even has a Chief of Staff. Just like how the President John Mahama has a Honorable Julius Zebra as the Chief of Staff. These people have a Chief of Staff. My brother, my sister, what is going on here? And you people will say, why are we covering this thing? Why are we making it? Are you guys ignorant or what? Let me show you a video of him saying that they want to establish a school as part of the community so that they will teach Igbo in that community, pure Igbo in that community, so that their culture does not get missing, like their culture does not get lost. Let me show you that video.
Our culture is our heritage. Without your culture, you are nobody. Without your language, you cannot celebrate culture. But we never forget our language. That is why we established Igbo speaking school in Ghana. And this Igbo speaking school established in Ghana is for the benefit of our children and those who does not know where they are.
Look at the confidence he's using to speak, and that is why we will establish Igbo speaking school in Ghana. And hey, Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, the youth want to hear from you. What exactly is going on? Why do we have a Nigerian national posing as a king in your region, posing like as a paramount chief in the, in fact, the National House of Chiefs? We have a question because he is a paramount chief for all the chiefs, all the Igbo chiefs in Ghana. This man is the power. So we have to throw a question to the National House of Chiefs to ask our elders what is happening. Because how did we get here? How did we get? This is not one of those contents where we present the news and we put ourselves aside. This is a national issue. And if we do not take care, Palestinians and Israel issue will pop up here. I'm telling you, this is not a joke. And from what I'm gathering, they started this long ago. Slowly, Ghanaians are too liberal. We are too soft. Why do we allow these things to happen and later now try to remedy the situation? How did they get the land? How did they've granted interviews? Our media is reckless. They've granted interviews. They've been on national television and nobody has said anything. So what happens? They gain the boldness to continue. This must be stopped. This must be stopped. We need to nip this in the bud. This must stop now. What do you mean?
King of Igbos in Ghana, wetin happen? Now by force for you to be king for another man country. Ghana, the whole Ghana don't scatter because everybody they talk about you. I understand. They say there's a normal tradition for every Igbo community in diaspora to have a king. It is a normal thing. But these Ghanaians are frowning at it. They say they no want. They don't want. Get out. Get out now. It is not hard. They no put water for mouth where they talk calm. People are going to the streets protesting. Igbo must go. People are going to the streets protesting. People are filing petitions. And you build a throne in another man's kingdom, calling yourself a king. Now get mind though. And one thing with Ghanaians, they will not take what they will not take. Like one Ghanaian content creator said, if somebody is in your sitting room and you don't complain when you come back home and find them in your bedroom. Oh yes, of course. You are in their home. They say they don't want another king in their kingdom. Besides, they don't see any work that you do. All they know you do is drive around with security. You are weirdly rich. Nobody knows what to do for a living. They carry a shower, they come Ghana. Underage girls, they come Ghana. Even recently, where Nigerians buy landlord. Even when Nigerians go thief people, things, tracing people inside expensive car from bank. Nobody they hear you, they talk anything. Nobody they see your action. There's also another video of people saying that you say anytime they catch bad person for Ghana, may they not say Nigerian, may they just talk the news without mentioning the nationality. Person send me DM, tell me things where Nigerians they do for Italy. Which part of the world now where they go hear Nigeria, where people eyes no go turn? What did they worry you? It is understandable. Everywhere Nigerians or Igbos are, there must be a king. Abi, we understand. But not do one for Ghana. When you go to Rome, you act like the Romans. No, because when you go to Rome, Romans act like you. It is not done like that. You get out. You go get out. Every time an Igbo, see another issue with these Nigerians in other countries, Igbo people, me na they try, they talk to our leaders. I no one just blame una. Because deep down, una know say plenty of our brothers too. And then they cause the problem to tarnish our images for outside country. Ghanaians, they protest for streets, say Igbos must go. See that because of una, the entire Nigerians, Yorubas, Benin, Calabas, Edos, where they Ghana, because of una, may they pursue everybody. That throne, me na just go demolition. Ghana government, me na just go demolition. I don't know who they pay una. Me na they give people title. In Ghana, the tradition is you have to be of royal descent to have a chieftaincy title or a kingship title. One thing supposed to lead to another. We be say go put you in that position. No be say go just wake up in the morning, make people they call you king, do throne for another man kingdom. You know the shame. I hear say carry money go buy acres of land. To do what? Make it just based in a factory you want open or farm. People they allegate, they allege that you want to do your own kingdom for another man country. Which guy? Jesus Christ. After I go want to do Biafra for Ghana now, there are content creators calling out their government to pursue all of now. Because when they give them a small leg, because they be peaceful people now one carry 1 yard. They give now an inch, now one take a kilometer. Why are you buying all that amount of land? And Ghanaian government, why are you selling so much land to somebody? Why are you selling so much land to somebody that is not a national? What does he want to use the land for? They say you want to do your own community. You don't do community for where you come from before. You want to build school. Your village gets school. You want to go and build free school in a country. You want to go and build education in a country that have free education. Or your village. When a minimum wage they increase to 70k, na never affect them. Where you come from, minimum wage, where they don't increase, they never still affect them. People are uneducated doing courtism and you know they feel come out on Mondays. Go to the east. They do sit at home because all these Talibans and ruthless people, they take over the streets. Go and watch videos of the east now. People, they scatter people for markets. All of them, the whole color. Want to go and be king in another man's perfect land. Like, as if they'll sit down, fold their legs and their hands and watch you do it. You know, they wake up. Oh, the word is enough for the wise. Me, I be Ghanaian already. I have nothing to lose. If they pursue us from Nigeria, go Ghana. If they pursue us from Ghana, I still go Ghana. They give you opportunity, make you hustle. Go hustle. Don't go to drag down with people again. And who do you want to be in another man's country? Rumor has it that people they see you for occasions, they prostrate for you. A lot of people say you are a nice man, you are a calm man. Yes. A lot of people come, even on my life today, somebody came and said that man is a nice man. That man has never boasted or bragged. Yes, but the problem is say the bad things where your people they do for that country, where you instill yourself as king, no, we never hear you frown at them. The things where you don't talk, we go viral, we reach our ear. Be say you they tell them, say if they talk news, may they know they mention the nationality because you know say your people they do bad thing where. They pack Igbo girls from where you come from. Igbo girls they pack them. They come Ghana. They can't say their kuntus. But what you don't talk, what you don't do about them. Not be by call yourself king or Ghanaians. Ghanaians, they walk like that. They show walking. Ghanaians, they walk with evidence. They do plastic love. That your kingdom go scatter soon. You are supposed to be president of Nigerians or Igbos in Ghana. You are not supposed to be a king. You are not even supposed to be a chief. That is how they call them here in Nigeria. President of Ghanaians in Nigeria. Lekki branch. President of Ghanaians in Nigeria. Ikoyi branch. That is how they do it. They don't call themselves chiefs. If they call people chiefs, those people must be royalty. And if you want to be a chief or a king of your people in another man's country, you do that at your own house, not in another man's country. And Ghanaian government, you people should check this thing.
Welcome to Gist Line. Now, many Ghanaians fear that recognizing a foreign king on their soil changes their identity and may set a dangerous precedent. To them, the concept of a king within their country, especially from a foreign ethnic group, feels like an overstep, especially if symbolic. Or even if it's symbolic. Some see it as an erosion of Ghanaian traditions and a subtle claim to territorial or political authority that could determine local governance and unity. Now, the Igbos, on the other hand, they argue that the installation of an Eze Ndigbo is purely cultural and has no political or territorial implications. Across the world, immigrant communities often appoint leaders to help preserve their traditions, offer support to members, and interface with host communities peacefully. The Eze Ndigbo serves as a cultural figurehead and mediator for Igbos living in Ghana, especially in matters of dispute resolution, social welfare, and cultural identity. It is not an attempt to rule or change Ghanaian sovereignty, but rather a way of keeping the community organized, cohesive, and respectful within the laws of their host country. These roles are often recognized in diaspora communities across Africa, Europe and America, and they function peacefully without political ambitions. Rather than viewing the installation as a threat, this moment could serve as an opportunity for cultural dialogue and deeper understanding between Ghanaians and Nigerians, particularly the Igbo community. Ghanaians have long welcomed Nigerians into their country, and the Igbos contribute significantly to local economies through trade, business, and cultural exchange. It is crucial to recognize that respecting and allowing immigrants to maintain cultural roots does not equate to taking over a country. Both sides must rise above fear and prejudice, and instead let them embrace mutual respect, as unity in diversity is key to a peaceful and prosperous Africa. The Eze Ndigbo's role should be clearly defined and communicated to all stakeholders to avoid misunderstanding, while also respecting Ghana's laws and customs. Peaceful coexistence depends on transparency, respect, and an open mind from both hosts and visitors. Well, if today is the first time visiting my channel, please kindly like, share, and subscribe.